Monday special Midcap Mania with Nigel D'Souza. Let's see what Nigel has for us today. Nigel.
Well, Surbhi, I've been tracking not just the Maruti stock, but I've also been looking out for a car. So now every time I go into the showroom, and they tell me there are huge waiting queues for it. So if you take a look at the recent launches, that's the Brezza, the Baleno, as well as the Ignis, you have a waiting period there of anything between 2 to around 5-6 months approximately. So they have clearly been the hits. I was looking at the Maruti stock, and if you just take a look at what happened in the last 1 year, there's a re-rating of sorts that took place because the FY18 EPS is approximately 270 to 80 rupees approximately. So from trading at around 12 times, suddenly it's trading at around 21 times. So the scope for disappointment now is a little smaller. That's why I was looking at various other ways that, the various auto ancillaries that are directly connected to Maruti. So this is the stock that we're talking about. It's known as Bharat Maruti. The stock has had a big run today. Please keep that in mind. And in fact, in the last week itself, the stock was moving quite well. But today, it's absolutely moved to the high point of the day. Now, Maruti holds close to around 30% stake out of the total promoter holding of around 58% approximately. And the one mutual fund, that's L&T Mutual Fund, holds roughly around 2.5%. What does the company do? They, in fact, manufacture sheet metal components. That's anything from, from those frames to the welded assemblies, the exhaust systems, even the axle. And all those pictures, in fact, should come up for you. I got it from their website itself. So this is essentially what the company does too. But everyone's interested in financials. So let's focus in the first 9 months of this year. What did they do? On the top line, well, there was a growth of around 7-8%. Operating profit as well went up by around 7 to 8%. But the big jump really came in their profitability. That's because their finance cost has been coming in lower. And if you just pull up the next chart, you'll say that this year, given that they've done a profitability growth of around 80-90% approximately, so by the end of this year, they should do maybe around, 45 crores approximately. That would be an EPS of around 21-22 rupees. And that means that the stock is already trading at around 18.5 to around 19 times. So keep that in mind. It's not trading very cheap whatsoever. How exactly has the profitability been improving? You take a look at the debt reduction. That's reduced fairly consistently over the last few years. That's point number one. The profit number doesn't look so great, but the depreciation number is almost as much as the profit number. So the operating cash flows, in fact, are looking very, very good. I was going through all these years, and in fact, they're generating close to around 100 crores in terms of operating cash flows. Even in terms of their ROCE, it's improved from around 15% to around 27% just in the last 1 year. But clearly, the thing that really stands out is their average receivable days. That's the time when you get the payment. That's only around 10 days. So just keep that in mind. That, I think, is quite a big positive. They have receivables of around 35-40 crores approximately on sales of around 1,300 crores. Finally, what are the drawbacks? You're only producing metal sheet components. So that's not a very high margin business. That's point number one. Over dependence on Maruti. That's point number two. And finally, the dividend payout has been less than 10%. So that's not great news. And finally, from their website, I just saw that they have various collaborations with a lot of Japanese players. So that helps them in keeping up with the latest technology. Interesting stock, though it's had such a big run. Let's see whether anything is left on the table. Back to you.
Okay, Nigel, thanks a lot for that. Standard disclaimer, this is not a stock recommendation from Nigel. This is just some interesting data points that he found. And here's